Right, welcome everyone to the Created DAO XToken Terminal AMA. See, we've got DeFi Mate here in the audience. Hopefully he's got some tough questions for us. Welcome Ben from XToken Terminal, and I'm Dunks411. I'm the co-founder of AmpliFi DAO. So let's kick it off. Ben, do you want to? You got your screen sharing there, so maybe you want to kick it off with just an intro into what XToken Terminal is, and a bit, hopefully, a bit about origination.
Yep, pleased to be here. Thanks for having me. My name's Ben. I'm the growth lead at XToken. I'll give you a little bit of background about XToken because I think it really kind of shaped our terminal protocol and where we are today. So XToken has actually been in the DeFi space for a little over 2 years now. So we started out doing kind of native staking strategies for different protocols. And we were developing a lot of like custom rewards contracts and just custom strategies for various protocols. And really just realized, that kind of work is really ad hoc and kind of hard to keep up with. If a protocol changes one of their strategies, then we have to jump and pivot directly as well. But we also realized that we could best serve the market by really turning this into infrastructure that could be used by all of DeFi. So that's really what XToken is all about, is enabling seamless access to what we call DeFi primitives. And those primitives can include things like liquidity mining, getting access to deep liquidity through mining incentives. Can include a token offer, bootstrapping liquidity through the sale of a token, which is the origination app that we'll be talking about. And we have many more planned. And really what we want to do at XToken, our sort of design philosophy, is making all of our apps totally permissionless, trustless, with a top-notch user experience and a real emphasis on security. So super excited to be here and to show you a little bit more about some of our applications.
Awesome. Yeah, it makes a ton of sense for us. Because
and I can keep rolling through Dunks unless you have any specific questions. Otherwise, I can kind of walk through some of our apps.
Yeah. No, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Let's do that.
I think you may be muted. So I'll just carry on.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was muted. I was just saying it makes a ton of like the idea of what you guys are doing, just making it easy for people to stay on focus. Like for us, we're like our specialty is around marketing, right? Like we're not we're not like deep in like Solidity programming or security, things like that. So like for us to build our own like token sale platform, for example, or platform to launch our token is just not even feasible. So something like what you guys are doing like makes a ton of sense for us, and probably as the market grows and more different types of projects that are focused on a specific like Web3 use case would like I could see like a ton of projects like being super interested in this product that you're hopefully about to demo us now. So
yep, that's exactly right. I'm glad you brought that up because that's exactly who we're building for. So as we all know, in DeFi, dev hours are probably the most scarce resource. There are a lot of products who just simply don't have experience building financial contracts, and not only can they by using us, save themselves a ton of headache, hours building custom contracts, building a front end, getting those contracts audited. They also, are exposed to a lot of risk doing it themselves. There have been a couple different case studies of, let's say NFT projects, DeFi projects who have gotten, there's this one example that I use from Akutars where they actually locked all the money they made from their NFT mint in the contract just through a simple withdraw bug, and it's just forever locked. So we really want to help projects limit risk, have a great user experience, and also just so they can focus on their own products and not have to worry about, developing financial contracts.
Right.
So, yeah, after you.
Yeah, no, keep going, sir.
Awesome. So what we're building is eventually we want to be kind of, we call it a permissionless investment bank, but really just all of these liquidity and capital management solutions. So we have 2 live today. We've got liquidity mining, which allows, a couple click access to deploy your own liquidity mining solution on Uniswap v3. So that's something that previously would have taken, weeks, if not months. You have to have really deep knowledge of Uniswap protocol, concentrated liquidity, and of course, Solidity. We've also got origination that's launching, I believe, next week with you guys. And we're super excited to partner with AmpliFi. So origination is, probably the premier use case, and certainly the one that AmpliFi will be using is a token offering. So same kind of methodology, and we'll actually show you momentarily what it looks like. But with just a couple of steps, you can set up a bunch of configurable complex options and deploy your own public or private token offer. And we've got all kinds of different conditions like dynamic pricing models. You can have the tokens fast, all kinds of neat little configurable options just in a really easy to use package. But there's a lot more that you can do with origination beyond just a token offer. Really, you can think of it as a means of exchanging, one asset for another permissionlessly. So it doesn't have to be a big official sale. An individual could use us to crowdsource some funds for an early stage idea. There's actually a bonding mechanism you could do where you could sell some tokens and buy back liquidity. If there's a merger or acquisition, you could exchange one asset for another. You can also, everything is on chain and fully transparent. So you could use us to, if there's like a free claim that you wanted to host, you could enter in the whitelist addresses, set the price to 0, and have folks' claims rather than having to airdrop and track everything manually. So it's a pretty cool platform, and we're super excited to launch, and even more excited to launch with a project like AmpliFi. We do have a few other in the works. We won't spend too much time here today. I'll actually share some resources where you can read a little bit more about it. But along that thread of really simplifying access to complex primitives, we want to build a platform that allows easy NFT minting on the financial contract side. So similar to origination, being able to plug in all the parameters, upload the files, and not have to worry about the financial aspects of that. And then we're thinking through some novel mechanics as well on sort of the capital management side. So things like liquidity auctioning and native collateralization. And I think unless you have any other questions at this point, I think we could actually just do a quick demo of the origination platform and kind of show folks what that looks like.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be totally awesome. Let's dive into it.
Cool. So I will preface this that we are still on testnet. We are just about ready to go live. Everything is pretty much done. All the contracts are, of course, audited and complete. Just finishing, staging and a few front-end tweaks. But this is actually a sneak peek of what will be the new app hub page. So if you think about Terminal being kind of the protocol or the platform, and then we've got these specific set of apps below. So mining's the first one, and I think we'll give folks a quick preview of that after. But let's take a look at origination because that's really what we're here to talk about today. And we're on testnet, so there's all kinds of kind of random tests done here. But once the platform's live, as a user, you'll be able to use the Discover tab to see all the active, token offers or different, even whales could go and make a market if they wanted to trade somewhat illiquid assets one for another. So this is the Discover tab. You can sort by different, price, offer, time left, those kind of things. And then anything that you're invested in or you favorite, you can go to My Offerings. But we'll go through the flow of actually deploying a token offer here. And you can see it's a 5-step process. So we're going to go ahead and, sorry, I don't have your latest ticker here, but we'll sell AmpliFi. So AmpliFi will be selling AGG. And we will take, so we've got the token that we want to sell, and then we'll take the purchase token, what we want to receive. So let's do good old USDC. And it's super easy to deploy. So if you wanted, multiple kind of sales side by side, one that took USDC, one that took ETH, pretty simple to deploy, and it just takes a few minutes. So these numbers aren't gonna mean anything. We're just gonna put some sort of sample numbers in here. We want to sell 50,000 AMP, and we'll have a reserve price. So the minimum amount of the purchase token raised for a successful offer. So that'll be in USDC. And if it doesn't reach that threshold, it basically will refund everyone and cancel the auction. So not necessary, you could put $1, but we're just going to put sort of a sample figure of $10,000 in. Step 2 will be configuring the auction parameters. So you can have both an allow list phase and a public sale phase if you desire. You're going to need to have at least one. It can be fully allow list, which what that means is basically you'll upload a CSV file with all the addresses that are allow listed and the quantity of token that they can purchase. For purposes of this demo, we'll skip that today, so no allow list period. But when you do upload that file, we handle all the Merkleization and everything, so you don't have to worry about doing any programming or configuration within the tool. But we will do a public sale. A public sale period, yes. You can choose a pricing formula, so you can do just sort of a standard, flat price. You can do an ascending auction, so the price goes up as more tokens are purchased, or descending, and the price steadily goes down from the offering price. So sort of like a Dutch auction. We'll just do a standard here. Again, just a random figure. We'll put 2 cents per amp in USDC. And we'll set the offering period for 4 weeks. So this will be open from a 4-week period. It'll cost 2 cents USDC per amp until supply runs out. And again, if we don't hit that reserve threshold, folks will be refunded, and it'll kick out the sale and perhaps reevaluate. We can also configure vesting parameters in just a few clicks. So if you want to add, this is again totally optional, but if you want to add a vesting period, and what that means basically is that users who purchase your token, you can set a period before they're able to claim and then to sell. So oftentimes we see projects doing this. This is common practice in Silicon Valley and also common practice in crypto, just to sort of lock users' funds to ensure that the token price doesn't, crash immediately if folks are inclined to sell. You can also do a cliff. So a cliff, what this means, the vesting period will have to be longer than the cliff. The cliff means that at 4 weeks, 4 weeks worth of vesting will be unlocked. And then after the cliff period, vesting means that it'll steadily unlock linearly. So you'll be able to claim, at whatever intervals you think makes sense. So we can see kind of the details here of the sale, duration, price, all that good stuff. And then nothing left to do but deploy the offer.
Awesome.
So that's
I'm just getting
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I'm just getting back to your window, just doing some magic in OBS. Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, so essentially, our sale will have the allow list, which we can set the time on that, and we're thinking to run that for 2 weeks, and then from after the allow list period, then it goes to the public sale period, which again, like, we can run for any length that we want. I'm not sure if we've decided exactly how long to run it for. Yeah, and then we have an increasing price on the allow list and a fixed price on the public sale, which we think makes sense. Just to give people a chance to get in the allow list sale. The earlier that they buy, essentially the cheaper the price they get.
It makes sense, and that's one of the cool things about the tool is, that's a totally different offer than we had drafted here during the demo, but there's so many different use cases, and I think that makes a ton of sense for you guys, especially having the 2 sale periods.
Yeah, and so I think that we're targeting around the 11th of October for the sale, and I'm guessing that's around the time that the platform sort of basically goes live. So do you have is that around what we're looking at?
Yep, our plan is to go live with you guys, so we're pretty much ready to go. Just have to do staging and deployment of the contracts. We've already done everything on testnet. We just have to do it on mainnet. We'll do some coordination in terms of order of events, but our plan is to go live with you guys so that we can, really get folks excited about using the tool, visiting it, both of our community and yours, and we can do a lot of co-marketing just to get the word out on both the launch of Origination and of AGG.
Yep. So with the final step of go live, there's actually like an initiate offering button, right? So like from the time that it goes live, we'll still be able to kind of push that final button that actually pushes the sale live.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So what we've done now is we've deployed the contract with all the parameters. So you can see 0 to 50K amp have been sold and the sale has not started. So you're exactly right. There's just this initiate offering button. You'll approve it. You'll make sure you have 50,000 amp in your wallet because you're essentially going to, transfer that to the contract and then the sale will start.
Yep. That makes sense. This is on, this is what we're looking at now is on Goerli.
Yep.
I wonder if I've got, I might take a quick look and see if because I've got a demo up as well, because I've been obviously playing around and testing stuff out. I'm not sure if I've got the latest version though.
I can shoot it over to you via DM right now, and if you want to,
I could maybe bring it up, and maybe I could kind of go through a little bit of the parameters that we've got set and stuff like that, and we can riff a little bit.
Yeah, I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah. While I'm bringing that up though, do you want to share a little bit more about your first app, about the liquidity mining and stuff like that, and just kind of how it works and stuff like that, because it's super interesting.
Yeah, I'd love to. So really solving a similar problem, with origination, it's just requires a lot of technical overhead, and a lot of projects are going to make the decision, rather than perhaps hiring like a new Solidity dev or redirecting the resources to building this out. We wanted to just provide really kind of like top-notch, seamless, configurable infrastructure that folks can use as another option. So we really want to, become like a really widely used utility. With mining, so the reason for doing mining is, we started with Uniswap v3. So similar reasons that creating a custom mining logic and contract is a ton of effort, the front end, all that stuff. But we first launched with Uniswap v3 because there are some kind of added complexities with v3 that hadn't been seen with previous iterations or other dexes. So with Uniswap v2 or SushiSwap, it was relatively easy. You still needed, of course, some kind of Solidity expertise to program the contract, but it wasn't a tremendous lift. With Uni v3, with its addition of concentrated liquidity, it is quite a lot more complex, both for the liquidity providers and for the pool sponsor who's deploying. So there's a lot more Uniswap knowledge that's required. There's no easy kind of like plug and play contract from the Uniswap team or anything like that. And for liquidity providers, you have to have a knowledge of like concentrated liquidity, and you sort of mint your own NFT, so it's not ERC20s like Uniswap v2 was. So there's just a lot of friction, there's a lot of rub, and there's a lot of challenges, particularly on the pool sponsor side, to get one of these things live. So this was kind of like the first use case that we had seen that we really wanted to pursue, because we were just working with all these different protocols who are having this, these issues, and we were kind of developing custom strategies for them. So that was all the catalyst for mining. And it's very similar to what you saw with origination. So it's basically, we won't go through the whole demo, but I'll just give you a peek. It's really just a 3-step process and then an initiate like we had with origination. So what you do here, and again, this is a liquidity mining incentives program. So what a project would want to do is, say we've got AGG out to market, we've already done the sale, and now we want to ensure that we have substantive liquidity on AGG. So what that means is that folks are able to swap on a decentralized exchange, in this case Uniswap v3, without having to pay like a crazy slippage fee. Or in some cases that tokens are completely illiquid, you can't even swap. So deep liquidity is super important for tokens in DeFi. So what we do here is perhaps like, traditional pair would be like AGG paired with ETH, just because ETH is kind of the de facto, Ethereum token. And we would be paying out incentives so that people are encouraged to provide that liquidity. So we do an AGG ETH pair, pay out additional AGG tokens. They would earn yield for being part of this, part of this liquidity provisioning. And then we just need to configure the parameters of that. So we can select, the fee tier within Uniswap v3, where this will fall under. We'll configure our price range so we can take advantage of concentrated liquidity. We can also do a full range pool, which is more akin to Uniswap v2. Concentrated liquidity, we could do a whole session on that, but basically it allows liquidity providers to be much more capital efficient with their dollars that they're allocating towards this. So if used effectively, you can earn much greater yields. I think a recent Uniswap study had it around 50%, 50% greater capital efficiency compared to Uniswap v2, same pool. And then configure the rewards. So very similar to token offering, we would say, okay, we're going to pay out AGG token, we'll figure out how many per week, and that'll basically dictate the yields. So that's how it works in the use case. I will mention that we're live today. So we're on Ethereum mainnet and also 3 layer 2s. And you guys can definitely go ahead and check us out. We've got a number of pools live today. The biggest one being with Optimism. This is actually on the OP network. It's a WETH OP pair paying out in OP. And yeah, definitely check it out because origination will follow a very similar kind of user experience.
Awesome. Yeah. Hopefully we can actually use this product as well eventually. Yeah. So
absolutely.
It allows for setting up liquidity mining programs and managing the UniV3 liquidity, like kind of in the same interface. Yeah.
Yeah, so the way it works is that the pool sponsor will. So I mentioned that like each liquidity provider who's just deploying liquidity on vanilla V3, they need to kind of set their own liquidity range, mint their own NFT. The way that this works is the pool sponsors actually setting the concentrated liquidity range and the fee tier and everything for the entire pool. So we're creating essentially a shared contract for that AGG ETH pair. And then liquidity providers just deposit and earn. So
for the WETH is that managed by XToken Terminal, or is that managed by like a user, or is that managed by you guys personally? Like, well, not personally, but by you.
Yeah. So in most cases, it's managed by the pool sponsor or pool manager. So someone from the project team who deploys the pool. In this case, actually, we received an Optimism grant. So we took part in their first round distribution of OP tokens. So we actually set up the parameters ourselves. But for each one of these, there's effectively a pool manager who sets the range and everything like that. Initializes, the amount that's going to get paid out, all the parameters of the program. So for this one, I'll just show you some of the things that you would configure. So we configured essentially the amount of rewards per week. So we're going to be doing a total of 300,000 Optimism tokens over a 6-month period. So this ends March 21st. There's no vesting period. It's 0.3 fee tier. And that's basically all that we had to configure. And then we uploaded the OP tokens that they sent us and deposited. So basically, go ahead.
For the range, what happens when if it goes out of range, like you update it, or?
Yeah, no, that's an excellent question. So the way that our contracts work right now is that they are immutable once you deploy the range. So if it went out of range, you have a couple of options. This example that we're looking at right now is actually a full range pool. And the reason that we did full range is because we actually, in our proposal, launched with 2 competitors to provide different options. So Terminal being kind of like the super easy to use, friendly user experience where you can just deploy and earn and not have to worry about it. And then we also partnered with Gamma for active management and UniV3 Staker for kind of self management with the highest potential yields. But back to falling out of range. So there are some that take advantage of concentrated liquidity here. And you have a couple of options. So if, probably the more arduous option is, you can deploy a new pool pretty easily in just a couple of clicks like I showed you. That does mean, though, that liquidity providers would have to exit the old pool and go to the new, which is a little bit painful and does cost some gas. So actually the next major update once origination is out is for mining, and it's called a rebalance CLI. So what we want to do with rebalance is effectively allow, if there's a secondary liquidity source that a project team can tap into, they can actually do an atomic rebalance and reposition the concentrated liquidity range. So for most, I just want to reiterate, for most of these pools, they can use a wide enough range that they're not going to have to worry about it. But if they do really want to take advantage of concentrated liquidity and get into tighter ranges, or if they're a more stable asset where they're honing in on a really tight range, this is going to be a really powerful utility that we're launching, probably in the next couple of months.
There's in a similar kind of like vein to that. We can actually do like some of the questions we asked about our sale is like, for example, like we're doing we have an NFT that gives access to the allow list, right? And so that allow list sale goes for a certain period of time, but if we wanted to continue sort of using that strategy of essentially selling the NFT to add more people to the allow list, then we could actually run like a second allow list sale, for example, before going public, just by deploying another offering, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, have you? Are there some examples of pools on there that where there is like two pools like with different ranges, or?
I don't believe so yet. No, not yet.
What sort of like what
We
kind of like what do people usually get like? So I can see there's the allocation. So allocation is like the amount of like how much of each token is in
tokens in the pool, correct? Yeah.
yeah, and then when you click into it, that's where you see the range. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. And we sorry, just bear with me for 1 second because I'm not as technical as some of my peers.
Yep.
I'd have to come back to you on that. I can talk through some of the use cases though, like oftentimes, and we haven't actually seen some do this in practice. We're a fairly new protocol. But I mean, new as in we launched in, I believe it was March.
Yeah.
But it does often make sense to do, like with this suite OP, we could do like both a full range option and then one with a little bit of concentrated liquidity on it.
Yep.
And essentially it gives LPs a little bit of opportunity to kind of like choose their own adventure. You can go with kind of the easy set and forget a pool. You could go with one that's a little more risk in the sense that it'll need to, if not managed, at least be monitored because it does have that potential to fall out of range. You could, as a pool sponsor, take advantage of different fee tiers by doing so. You could also take advantage of different token pairs. So that's one that we expect to be common in the future. So OP has got this WETH pair, but what if folks want to trade directly to USDC or something? We could also see this OP WETH pair on mainnet, for example. So we've definitely had customers who are exploring launching, simultaneously on different networks.
And your guys' token's XTK, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So you guys are incentivizing that with that's like XTK with XTK rewards on top.
Yeah. So the way that our token emissions work, and I'll share some documents as well, just in case I don't get everything completely accurate. But basically, what we do is all of the fees that we earn from our different applications, so like both the deployment fee and then the percentage that we take of the distribution through the tool, is used then to buy back XTK that's distributed through this pool via emissions. So everything's basically going back into the token. So we've got this XTK WETH pool that has active emissions right now at 91%. And we've also got this liquid staking pool. So we would need this was a little before my time with the company, but we do have XXTKA, which is essentially like a liquid staking version of XTK. So we've got this sort of liquid option where folks can basically, take XTK for more XTK.
Awesome. Yeah, super cool.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, we're excited about it. And once origination launches, I think really this sort of investment banking vision is going to start coming to life as we start rolling out different applications that fit the same kind of like design philosophy.
Yeah, I can definitely imagine like protocols. I can definitely imagine protocols going through origination and then launching their own pools like on yeah. Are we not quite coming up to time yet? Are we or no? Still got a few.
Looks like we've got about 20 minutes.
Awesome.
Did you want to share your configuration for the AGG stack?
I might see if anyone's got any questions as well there.
Sure, let's do it.
Does anyone want to unmute themselves and jump in with a question? I will. While we're doing that, I'll bring up my. Did you send me the latest link? I will.
I'll do it right now.
Yeah,
I'll stop sharing. Shoot you the link. Just send it over. Just make sure you're on Growly.
Yeah, awesome. Give me 2 seconds and I'll turn on my stream. If anyone's got any questions, just unmute and fire away. Okay, 2 seconds here. Let me know when you guys can see my stream.
Got it.
I will. I'll just switch over. I'll just switch over to my window. Give me 2 seconds here, so I can record this as well. I'll do. Give me 2 seconds here. Might have a bit of a. Yeah, can you guys see my screen?
I can, yes.
Awesome. I'll just do one more little check here to see if I can. Okay. Yeah, we should be good to go. Hopefully our offering's still here. Okay, so yeah, so I set up a couple of different ones. These have so this one's actually live. So I mean, when I say live, it's live on. I've initiated the offering on testnet. Just give it a sec to work its magic here. So yeah, essentially the allow list offering is here, and then so you can see the timer, and then I should be able to. I'm not sure if I've got USDC in this wallet. I would be able to invest. I've actually created another one. Maybe I can initiate that one, and I think that one's created with the token that I do have in my wallet. So, yeah. So when the time comes for us to go live, once the platform's actually live on mainnet, once the contracts are deployed, we'll be able to create our offering, and then we'll just be able to hit like initiate offering. We'll be able to update this allow list. I'll just quickly show you a little bit about how our campaign works. So essentially, this is the NFT that gives people access to the allow list, and we're giving access to all XTK token holders as well. Will be on the allow list. So everyone from the XToken terminal community will be able to join the sale. Essentially, the way this works, we've got an AmpliFi campaign set up. It sends people to this page, and once they join our Discord, they can mint. I'm on Goerli, so I wouldn't be able to mint. But if I was on mainnet, that button would go blue, and minting would be enabled. But we've got here an AmpliFi campaign that essentially sends users once. So the promoter can come in here and find out, the offering, how it works, what they can earn. They actually get a share of the funds that we raise here. Plus they get a share of the sale of the NFT, and they get a share of AGG. So that will be shared out pro rata between the promoters. So, and you can see also they offer the audience 30% discount, which is on the allow list sale, and then they earn some AGG or locked AGG. So this is what promoters are offering to the audience, and then this is kind of the steps. So firstly, the audience needs to join our Discord, the AmpliFi Discord, and then they would mint this NFT, and that's how we sort of handle the proof to show that the user actually did use an AmpliFi link, sent it to their audience, and then once the NFT is minted, that same address that holds the NFT can participate in the allow list sale, and we'll be able to track how much they invested, and then that's how we handle the payouts for the promoters. It's kind of simple, but then like saying it out loud, it's a little bit complex. But that's our challenge, to kind of communicate that to our promoters. So if I hit initiate, so this is the actual amount of tokens that we'll be selling. I would at this point I would transfer those tokens into the contract. And then the offering would go live, but only the allow list people. So essentially, anyone who's holding an NFT or anyone that's added to the allow list would be able to start buying, and the price would be 0.0035, which is, I believe, this 0.005 is the end price, which is a 15 million FDV, like fully diluted valuation of our. If you take all of our tokens and multiply it by this price, it'll be $15 million. So then 30% discount on that would be just over 10 million FTV. It's a pretty big discount, in my opinion. Assuming that you think that the FTV, that if hopefully, investors think that the FTV is like reasonable. Definitely not financial advice, of course.
It's super exciting the way that you guys have set this up and added that extra layer of engagement as well. Like, depending on sort of your risk appetite and how invested you want to get with the AGG token, you can buy a couple of tokens. You can participate in the whitelist or public sale at a discount. You can buy the NFT and actually take part in looks like fee sharing, revenue sharing in a sense. It's super cool. I really think the way you guys have set this up and used in the way that you're effectively using the origination platform, I think is really cool. Part of the reason we're so excited to be launching with you guys.
Yeah, so hopefully, if it kind of works well, maybe even some of the other people who end up launching on origination might like to, maybe do something similar. They could even use AmpliFi to kind of in the build up to the sale. Like, I think that for like a community oriented project, which we are, I think that sharing like 1% of the funds that are raised with the people who actually help, like, get the word out, like makes a ton of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like we are sharing 5% of the funds that we raise. So 5% of the funds that we raise in the allow list via AmpliFi links will go back to the promoters. I think it's pretty cool. Hopefully I have some of this. Yeah, I have some of this token, so I should be able to actually buy. Not going to like buy too much, right? But maybe 1,000 AGG, which would be this amount. Yeah, it's an interesting it's an interesting way that we've chosen to do it. Like for me, like I really like the idea of using our own platform to market our platform. So it's kind of putting our money where our mouth is a little bit, I guess.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying about sort of the cross pollination between projects using both of our solutions. And that's another part of what we're building here. It's just really a lot of discoverability. Once we have that kind of core audience that's exploring the different protocols that launch with us across our different applications, and then we absolutely encourage folks like you who are bringing your own kind of infrastructure to the table of meeting some of these other projects that are deploying our XToken terminal. And I do think the affiliate marketing platform is a great use case for anyone who's trying to either raise through a token offer or generate liquidity through an LM program. So super exciting. Glad you're part of the XToken community.
I know you guys actually have an NFT launch platform on your roadmap as well, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
Yeah, is that kind of the next big thing that you guys are kind of dropping after this, or? After origination launches, we want to do a few sort of improvements to other applications. So the rebalance CLI, that utility will be probably the next big thing. We have been just as feedback comes in, as time goes on, we have been launching some minor improvements. As we work on origination, like we just added the ability to sort of like rename the pools that you launch, which is kind of neat. But we definitely want to just make sure that we're making it as user friendly, easy to use as possible. So rebalance CLI will be the first main thing, along with the origination launch, and then I believe we still plan to do the NFT minting application next. It could change if we decide to reprioritize a little bit, but right now that's next on the roadmap. It's kind of like, I guess we've seen over the last couple of years, like NFTs being like a massive part of, what people are actually using crypto for, right?
Yep.
We're like this thing that I kind of briefly showed, this landing page is actually kind of the first glimpse of what we're sort of trying to build with NFTs. So essentially this feature here, we sort of see this as similar to what pre-mint offers, which is basically an allow list and raffle kind of setup, which works with what we've seen is that pretty much the only way to sell out a 10,000 NFT collection is to really build up a community and get people on a list to say that they want to mint it. And one of the the way that pre-mint does that is by offering people to join an allow list, and they make them jump through a couple of hoops to get there, which is usually joining the Discord, following Twitter, maybe retweeting a tweet. But they have this other feature, which is basically a collab, where you take a community that has an NFT, and then you set up a special page that only people who hold that NFT can join the allow list or can join the raffle for the allow list. And so we're combining those features that we see everyone using along with our affiliate marketing programs. So we kind of think that gives an even more powerful and more like kind of well-rounded like marketing solution for an NFT project. But as you can see, like we're using the allow list feature in DeFi as well, right? So we can use it in sales. We can use it like obviously in the NFT like use cases, and we also think that there'll be like plenty of other like DeFi related use cases. And we see a lot of DeFi projects that are actually having their own NFT collections now. So I just think it's a really good way to kind of like bring the community together, especially around the PFPs. But ours isn't a PFP, but who knows? Maybe it will turn into a PFP. But yeah, so that's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, that's how we're thinking about the NFTs and this platform. So what you'll see on this platform over time will be tons and tons of landing pages and collab focus pages. We've got some collabs actually coming out. Obviously, we're collaborating with you guys. So we're giving you guys access on the allow list, and we're also going to give some of these NFTs to your community as well. And it's a really cool way to do co-marketing stuff. Like giving some NFTs to other communities. Like it's a really good way to kind of, I don't want to say like trade up, like, but yeah, to basically to network and to kind of give value to other communities, and then kind of like, like you said, kind of cross-pollinate. So this is a kind of our marketing strategy for AmpliFi as well, that you can just start to see kind of coming together. I'm super excited about it. And some of the other collabs that we've got coming out, which will be in the next few days, which you guys will see as well, which are pretty exciting. So, yeah. I guess we got 6 minutes left, so maybe if anyone's got any questions, someone must have some questions.
Is there anywhere I can read more about this? I joined kind of late, so I missed everything. Or is this recorded?
This is recorded. For this launch, they're probably the best thing to read. I'll drop it in the chat. Actually, let me bring it up on my screen real quick. Just because I'm sharing my screen. So there's a thread. Okay, so there's a thread by XToken Terminal, which is here. Which gives a fair bit of details about like the launch and stuff like that. And then we've got something, we just dropped this in the chat, the creator chat. If I can, here's a thread. Then we've kind of got an article here on our AmpliFi blog. It's kind of just, that's tokenomics one. This gives like, it's the AmpliFi campaign, like it's quite cool, but it's also a little bit complex. So we're really trying hard to like make it as simple as possible. But yeah, I'll drop this in the chat as well. But the way the NFT works, like it technically we kind of have to use the NFT to do attribution for the like to be able to prove that an affiliate actually did cause the person to invest. Like we are using the NFT to kind of prove that. If that makes sense. Whereas like we can do that by having like the AmpliFi, like our script on in the app. We don't have it on origination, which is kind of cool. Like it gives us a way that we can actually use AmpliFi with any protocol without having to have any actual integration with them, which is really cool for things like, let's say you want to use a service, some kind of DeFi service, and you have a project, you want to use this service, and you want to run an affiliate program for it, but you don't have access to you can't put like a script or something on their platform, right? Like you can still use a strategy like what we're using here to prove that the affiliate did actually send the user to go and use that service, and we're using the NFT to kind of prove that. Yeah, I can go into a little bit more technical detail, but I guess Ben's got to go in like 2 minutes, so maybe if anyone's got any questions for Ben, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and I'll just say, XToken we'll share some links and everything, and we'll be sticking around the Discord. So if you guys have any questions for me, you want to learn more about XToken, you know of any projects that might be able to kind of use our tools, definitely let me know. Happy to chat with any of you guys. I'm super excited to be part of the Creator DAO community.
Yeah, totally. I'm sure that we'll be able to kind of direct some projects your guys' way. I think for both origination and for the mining. Yeah, excited to be partnering with you guys. It's awesome.
Sounds great. Well, I will jump here unless there are any last minute questions. And as I mentioned, just tag me in Discord if something comes up down the line as we get closer to launch. Open invitation. Would love to get to know some of you guys.
Yeah. Did you want to? Did you like in terms of like security and stuff like that? Is there anything you wanted to say about that? Like.
Oh sure, yeah. So we're definitely very focused on security. We've gotten audited by ABDK and trying to think of the name of the other one. Certec. So we can share our reports with you guys. We also have had an open AmpliFi bug bounty program, which to be honest, I think is probably the best way. Just because you can have white hat hackers kind of trying to break in and earn some cash for themselves. So we had one relatively minor issue found through that program, but it definitely was worth its salt just for that alone. So we
those audits are on the mining or on both or.
On both, we use kind of like the same core contract architecture for both, and then I believe I'll have to clarify this with the team who works on it, but I believe we resubmitted for origination specifically with the changes that we had made. But I'll have to get back. I can post that in the Discord once I speak with the team.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do have to jump, but thank you so much for having me. It was really great to get in front of the community. And let's just be in touch with the type of content that we can create out of this and kind of maximize our reach. Really excited to get the word out.
Totally. Awesome. Thank you, sir.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Yo. I'll stop my recording.
Hey, Dunks.
Yo.